Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very important house, that is the sixth house of our horoscopes. This is the house which is supposedly the enemy of our ascendant, but at the same time, this is the house which will also give strength to the ascendant. Now, how it is so, I will talk about that through this video. So, friends, first of all, what is an ascendant? The sign that is rising on the eastern horizon at the time of our birth is considered as our ascendant. So it is very important to have the knowledge of our ascendant, because unless we know the right ascendant for ourselves, we will not be able to know what planets are functionally benefic and what planets are functionally malefic for us. And it becomes very important to know the functionalities of these planets. So the first house, which is the ascendant, should be very strong, because then it will give you a good strength, it will give you strong personality, it will give you a very good physique. But are we going to make the best use of that? Are we going to make it big in our lives? That is all to be seen through the help of the sixth house, because this is the house which is also associated with your good health. How good you are going to take your first house forward will be seen through the strength of your sixth house. So let's try to understand with the help of some numerical values. For that, I will take you through the Ashtak Varga charts. So friends, I'm not going to share any charts here, but I will just tell you theoretically that how it works. So if we go to the Sarvashtak Varga charts, that is the total score that a house gets numerically through your ascendant and through the 7 planets, excluding Rahu and Ketu, will tell you how strong is your given house. So if any house is having more than 28 points, it shows that house is pretty strong in its strength, and that house is going to give you good results. But let's try to compare the scores of the sixth house and the first house and understand how it works. Suppose a native is born with the ascendant having 28 points in its Sarvashtak Varga chart. And at the same time, this native is getting 36 points in his sixth house. Does that mean that native is going to have a very comfortable life, or the native is going to be very physically fit? So friends, by the meaning of the Ashtak Varga score, it shows that the native has been blessed with the good health, because it has given 28 points to the ascendant. But the sixth house having 2 high points compared to the ascendant shows that the native will be overexerting himself. So the native will keep himself busy and keep himself overexerted so as to put pressure on the ascendant. So it is not good to have 2 high points in the sixth house compared to the ascendant. So the score of the sixth house should be comparable to the ascendant. It should be more than 28, but it should be lesser than the ascendant. Then the person will be having a completely healthy life. Suppose you are born with the ascendant with 36 points. So on the first glimpse, it shows that you have been really blessed with a good health. But when we look at the sixth house, it is having merely 28 points. So it means that the native has been blessed with a good health, and the sixth house is also having sufficiently good points. But what if the sixth house is having 24 points, or say 21 points? Then the score is remarkably different in these two houses. So it means that the native will try to live a luxurious life and thereby spoil the qualities of the ascendant. So the native has been blessed with a good physique, but the native is not making the best use of his day-to-day activities, and therefore the native will have troubles in his life because of his ways how he spends his entire day. Now, friends, let's try to understand it with the help of planetary positions. So, the sixth house is going to tell you how you spend your entire day. It is also going to tell you what you eat, what you do, what are the exercises that you do, what work that you do. So, it is a very important house. It also tells you what kind of clothes that you wear. So, everything has to come through the sixth house. So, if you are having a malefic present in your sixth house, it shows that you have got a strong immunity. You have got the abilities to fight against diseases. So, having malefics in the sixth house is an asset. And if this malefic is aspected by a benefic planet, then it is still better. So, it means that you will have a very good health and a good physique. But sometimes these malefics can be more than one in your sixth house. Does that still give you good health? No, because then the sixth house becomes very strong and the malefics will afflict each other. So that means that the person will lose out on his immunity and the person will succumb to diseases and difficulties. The person can be having many enemies also by the placement of more than one malefics. But if there is an aspect of a benefic in the sixth house, it is a good indication that the relief would come to that native. Now, what happens if the malefic, singly placed malefic in the sixth house is debilitated? So, friends, let me clear this confusion, because a lot of people say that the sixth house having a debilitated malefic is good. But the thing is that sixth house debilitated malefic is not good where your physical health is concerned, or where the physical health of that house is concerned to which that malefic belongs. For example, if you are having a Scorpio ascendant, then the fourth house lord becomes Saturn here, and Saturn in the sixth house will become debilitated here. So, does that mean the native is going to be having a good health? No, it means that the native will have problems related to his health. And it also shows that the native's mother could have health problems. The native's domestic life could also be troublesome here. But where the competitions are concerned, here there will be no competition. So the person will excel in competitions, and the person will also be happy in terms of achievements in his work area, because sixth house is also about competitions. So when the planets they go debilitated here, the malefics when they go debilitated here, it shows that the competition will not exist and the enemies will vanish. So it is good placement to have a life without enemies and to have a life without competitions. But this placement will give you health problems and problems to your mother. Now, the same position happens when Sun, the lord of the fourth house, becomes debilitated here in the sixth house. Again, it will give you problems. For the Taurus ascendant, the Sun becomes the fourth lord and it becomes debilitated in the sixth house. It is going to give you problems of the same dimensions which I said for the Scorpio ascendant. Now, sometimes you are having a benefic planet present in the sixth house. For example, for ascendant where Jupiter is the lord of the fifth house becomes debilitated in the sixth house. Now, it is said that benefics in the sixth house are going to help you and they will save you from enemies, they will save you from competitions, and they will also give you good health. But The houses to which they are lords of will suffer here because they are placed in the sixth house. And if they happen to become debilitated in the sixth house, then there is a sure short destruction of the house to which they belong. For example, Jupiter, being the lord of the fifth house, becomes debilitated in the sixth house, then the person may have to adopt children. So it is not a good placement unless there is some cancellation happening. So, friends, having a benefic here which is exalted is a good sign. It means that the native will have a very comfortable day-to-day life. The native will live a happy life. But if a benefic is debilitated, is not good placement for you. So the karkas, the significators of those planets, which are benefics here in the sixth house, will suffer. We must also know that the sixth house lord, if it is placed in the sixth house itself, means it is sitting in its own sign, shows that the native will be very happy in terms of his accomplishments. The native will be doing his own work, and the native will have good health. Having exalted planets in the sixth house, having planets in their own signs in the sixth house, is very good for your health. If the sixth lord has gone to the eighth house or to the 12th house, it shows that the native will have a good life where the native will not have any competitions, the enemies will be destroyed, but the health can suffer here because the sixth house lord is making a connection with the another malefic house like eighth or 12th house. So where the living beings are concerned, the sixth house can damage that. But where the material progress is concerned, the sixth house is going to give you good results under these conditions. We must not forget that wherever the sixth lord will go, we will always have enmity with that house. Suppose your sixth lord is sitting in your seventh house, it shows that you will have difficulties or difficult relation with your spouse or with your partner. Similarly, if the sixth lord has gone to your fourth house, then you will have difficult relations with your mother, or you will have difficulties in your domestic life. If your sixth lord has gone to the 10th house, then you will have difficulties in your career or with your bosses or with the authority figures. The sixth lord going to the 9th house can give you difficulties with respect to your relationship with your gurus or with your father. So the sixth house, wherever it goes, will create difficulties on that account. So friends, this was the confusion that I wanted to clear with you. And also, before winding up, I want to say that the sixth house will also tell you how you spend your entire day. So if there is a benefit present here, it means that your entire day is spent very comfortably and you are eating well and you are doing things well, which will help you have a better health. But if you have more than one malefics here, or if you have a debilitated benefic in the sixth house, it can also show that you could be prone to some addictions or sensual habits which can go against your well-being. Similarly, exalted benefic here will give you good health and consciousness regarding your physique, and exalted malefic here will make your enemies very strong, and it will also give you good health and ability to fight diseases. So it means that you will be very conscious about your day-to-day habits. So friends, keep all these things in your mind, and I hope this video of mine would be able to clear some confusions or doubts in your mind related to this house. Stay connected, because very soon I am going to talk about the 6,000 more details, where we will study what kind of results this house lord will give when it is placed in different houses. Till then, goodbye, friends.